Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping, to the Green Aqua Gallery in Budapest, Hungary. I am really excited today because we're continuing the Aquascaping Couch series with another distinguished guest, Lars Green. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So welcome again to the Green Aqua Gallery in Budapest. What brings you here to this beautiful city?
Yeah, basically I was very sorry that I couldn't attend on your opening day.
Oh, we are sorry as well.
So I had a holiday at that time, but I saw all the vlogs and videos, pictures, and I thought first of all it was an amazing place and something that I had to visit, of course. But it is coordinated or combined with actually the management forum are doing some international pet conferences here in Budapest. So it's combined, yeah? So
okay.
I'll go there.
All right. These aquascaping couch episodes are for you guys, regular aquascapers, so I really promise that we're not gonna touch too many business subjects here. Yeah. But my main idea behind inviting Lars to be with us is to show you who is standing behind one of the best companies that I've ever seen in this hobby.
Thank you very much.
And I'm saying that because Tropica has a beautiful innovation and it has a way of coming up with new products all the time. And I really wanted to know the person who is behind the whole thing. So let me start from the end. How long are you with Tropica and how did it come into your life?
It came into my life with a group of investors, some good friends that I know, I've known for many years. And we decided to buy our own companies, to run companies ourselves.
Are you an investor yourself? You were part of that group?
Yes, I am, yeah. So it came into our mind and we sort of set up the 10 criteria for buying a company, which needs to be fulfilled generally. And we actually, Tropica was our first acquisition back in 2004. And I was just in the board from the beginning, but 9 out of 10, I think, of the criteria were actually perfect with Tropica. And
what wasn't perfect?
What wasn't perfect, I can't really remember, but when you have 9 out of 10, then
you changed it,
you
right?
Go for
now
it.
it's perfect.
Yeah, you changed it, yes, exactly. And it was basically, from my end, I've been within the sales and marketing area all my life. I've worked with brands. I've always been with brands where I have to be passionate about the products. I've started my career with Lego. Mm-hmm. The Lego brick company. So
Toys and beer.
Toys
the
and
famous.
Beer.
Oh, I didn't tell you guys that Lars is originally from Sweden.
No, Denmark.
Jag skojade bara. I know. This is what Swedish say, that Denmark is toys and Lego.
That's right, and beer.
And beer.
No, so. I've always been working with brands, and it's important for me to have a passion about the products that you're in. Yeah, I want to be the number one within the area that we are working in, definitely.
And I think you are slowly beginning number one, but I don't want to jump forward too much. And I want to go back a little bit to your childhood. Were you grown in Denmark?
Yes, I was grown.
What family are you coming from?
What family? I am
complicated.
No, it's my father was a teacher, my mother was a nurse. So I'm from a small village, 3,000 inhabitants in the north of Denmark.
What is the name of that village?
Sindal.
Okay.
So very small village. I'm actually educated as a grocer.
What's
originally. That's being in a supermarket.
Oh, I see.
Trading.
Okay.
And when I finished that, all the way up north in Denmark, I went out traveling. I've been to Australia, to different parts in Asia at that time. And then when I came back, I would say I experienced the world and said, okay, this part of Denmark where I was grown up is too small for me.
Too small for you, right?
So I have to go to Aarhus, where we are now, and been ever since I was 18 years old. It's a perfect city because it's where Tropica is, just in a smaller village north of Aarhus, and it's in a university city. So 10% of the inhabitants there, 400,000 people, is going into the university. So
it's quite a young city then.
Very young city, and on the sea level, I love it there. Really good.
What did you do there at first when you came back from your world trip?
I went into school again to sales, business, and ended up in a university degree in sales and marketing.
How did you end up in the investing career? I mean, how did that come to you, or why did you want to do that? Or
actually, because we are there's 3 colleagues, Jan, Peter, and Søren. It's called JPS. That's the company behind. Very boring, I know, but
no, it's not. It's friendship. We're 3 at Green Aqua too. So.
It's friendship, because when I moved to Aarhus when I was 18 years old, then the one partner of mine was on the 3rd floor, I was on the 2nd floor, and the 3rd partner was on the 3rd floor on the right side of the building.
And what kind of building was that?
That's just an apartment building.
Oh, you lived there?
I lived there. Yeah.
Okay. Aside of the business, what did you want to do? What did you want to achieve with your life besides moving out of the small village? I mean, your initial goal, what was your initial goal?
I've always, been, very passionate about things that I do. I've been playing sports on quite a high level. Been a contract player in football previously.
Danish football is not very good.
It is good. It is good. From the size of the country.
Yeah. I'm not comparing it to Hungarian football, no? Because that's.
We could talk about this.
No, let's not talk about this. I'm not going to get out well from this.
No.
No.
But I think from a sports perspective, I've always in sports wanted to be number 1. So everything I do generally is trying to put myself. I think I'm driven, by a passion to say, did we do a good job today? Mm-hmm. Can we do something tomorrow which is better than yesterday? And that's the whole basic, not only within products, but today for me, it's a whole culture, the mentality of running a business, the organization behind. And I don't want people just to go to work. I just want to make them feel that they've actually done a difference today when they go home.
And how did Tropica come to you, and why did you stick with it?
So it was by coincidence. It's actually one of our very good old bank contacts who had this client, Tropica, who knew that he was Holger Windeløv, the previous owner, which a lot of people know. As a branding icon for Tropica. He's still in the board. I think he's 70, I have to be careful, 78 years old. Sorry, Holger.
He's going to complain.
I think it's 78. He still have a birthday now. No, that was by coincidence, but the bank contact said that maybe it's a good idea to talk to him because he was considering a generational change. And the successors were not really within the organization.
Yeah, but why did you stay with the company? I mean, why didn't you appoint somebody to lead the company instead of you?
Good question, because one of the basics also within our, you can say, policies or our approach to looking at businesses is that we don't necessarily have to take part in the business. As long as we can see the potential,
that's what
within our scope, then it's fine. But when we took over the company in 2004, in May, I was also only in the board, but supporting, on the commercial side to say, how are we actually selling now?
It's 2004, you said?
2004 we took over.
So like 14 years ago.
Yes. And we did some investigations there, and we looked at how is the setup of the company generally. And we sort of realized that it's expensive to costing-wise to produce in Denmark. So if you have to keep on doing that in a primary business like, a nursery is, then we have to be extremely efficient. We also have to grow because we need volume behind doing what we do. So we couldn't do that actually on the premises that we took over at that time. So we decided to move the business. We were in all directions, moving it out of the country because of the costs of wages, but realized that a lot of the DNA at Tropica is actually the people working there. Still today, but also at that time, we have an average working period for each employee of over 14 years.
That's amazing.
So people stay there, but it also means that they have a lot of knowledge, in the back of their head. We can write things down, and we have done that in our processes and to control quality and whatever. But the people behind, they are actually the whole DNA of the brand. You
also keep the innovation in Denmark.
Yeah, it comes from our eyes and ears, I would say, in the market. We don't have any formal, approach. I wouldn't say that, but we talk to a lot of people because we and has done that since I took over the company in 2006 as a managing director. My partner and chairman also and myself, we have been the two persons approaching the industry, being very honest about that we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to make an aquarium a success for more people. That's sort of the approach to the market. And so we have been very open that it can be through partnerships that we can grow, we can buy out companies, we can, but we have looked in the market to see how can we actually take this hobby to another level.
Let me go back a little bit to the research and the innovation part of Tropica, because this is what aquascapers would be probably more interested about. Are you regularly sending out Trosh and the others on expeditions?
Yeah, it's. I think it has changed a bit today. One of Mr. Holger Vindeløv's DNAs, and also you can say the DNA behind the Tropica brand is his expeditions around the world.
I have seen countless photos of him in some river.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that's part of his brand, his DNA. And he has really found a lot of, he has found the Himianthus cuba, Jurijs on Cuba, actually in a lake, riding a horse. I wouldn't say that. It's in Cuba.
Okay.
But riding a horse, actually, and then finding a plant. He's done that many times after as well. Arriving home from different parts of the world with small plastic bags with the plants in, and here's some, I don't know, I think it's a plant like this, but put it in the tank and see whether it survives, And then we have had some very, very good colleagues to take it in and see whether it actually can turn into a production facility, because we have to realize that it's not easy, to find a plant in nature. All the plants that we have, apart from the Vindeløv, which is patented still, it's plants in the nature. They are somewhere out there, generally.
Do you think that there are many plants that still need to be discovered?
I think there can be a few, I would say, but I think it's a bit like what about the next famous song? Is it still there? Or has it been invented, or is it just varieties of new songs? Basically, I think it's difficult to find a new Aponegeton bulb, or it's difficult to find a blue Anubias, or whatever. They're not around, but you can find in some areas of the world, depending on the sun intensity, the soil, the substrate in the ground, you can find varieties of Rutala. You've seen the H-Ra, whatever, which is very popular in Asia.
Let me stop you at H-Ra. That wasn't in the market people weren't aware of HRR just 1 year or 2 years ago. How did that come in?
I think originally I have to Troels, if you're watching, don't challenge me on this.
Troels is watching.
Yeah. But I think it's originally actually out of Vietnam, if I remember correctly. But I've seen the plant many times.
It has Vietnam in the name, so must be coming from Vietnam.
Yeah. But I've seen it many times in Japan, in different areas of Asia, especially.
How did you see that? Did you also join him in some of his trips?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did, and I've.
What did you do? Did you dive with him in the creeks?
I have not been diving, but I've been visiting a lot of, you can say, shops in different places. I've been visiting a lot of suppliers who's growing plants, aquatic plants, many places in the world. So that's part of our DNA as well. That we need to look. We have to see is there any possibilities, new possibilities anywhere, which we can challenge, which we can try to take in. And in Asia, as you will see in other different parts of the world, in South America or whatever, you see some plants which has an extreme color suddenly, and that was the indicator, or the HRA here is the case, that the intensity and the color in Asia is so immense that so this plant we have to try to see whether we can do it. And the fact is that when you take it in the long process, developing a plant, we take it into our facilities where we have around 300 plants at all times in our pipeline, where we get 3 to 5 new plants out of having 300 plants potentially in pipeline for new plant products every year. Then you clean it up, you almost kill it, with to take it down to the DNA it is. We put it into our laboratory, then we try to grow on it again, put it in a tank again. And many times when you do that, a plant like HRA, whatever, turns back into being just a normal Rotala, Indica, whatever that you have seen many times before.
So basically, let me recap that for the viewers. You need to take the plant, you need to reduce it to DNA level, you need to regrow it in lab conditions.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's another Rotala type and it doesn't show the red colors that you're looking for.
And even there, if it turns out to be what you expect, then you have to put it into a production facility. And maybe there it won't grow actually in a normal, very good nursery condition. And then you can't sell it again. You have to put it into a production unit. But there actually, it's one of the basics about the Want2Grows, which if I can take it to that level again. The Want2Grows and doing lab plants in the states that we do today, which I think is the future for many plants generally, has actually made us make more valuable plants accessible again for a lot of hobbyists. Because you can have, previously we had to do a lot of, especially Rotalas or whatever, Ludwigias, which are very soft and which could only be grown in submerged conditions.
Right.
But doing them in submerged conditions, they're actually too vulnerable to produce in a normal nursery, to put it into plastic bags or whatever, into packagings. And then when they enter here in your store, they collapse, they fall apart.
And now lab conditions are better to be able to ship them and store them.
Yes, because they are protected directly from the lab. They are not put into any grow facilities, but you can protect them in a lab condition. You can seal them off, and they are actually protected during transport and perfect for growing stages here as well.
And you have come up with this revolutionary new idea of having the jelly in a liquid form, which is really good for us aquascapers, because when you are planting from a lab plant in liquid jelly, it's just easy to take it out, it's just easy to wash. You just have to rinse it, like put it underwater or inside a bucket or something, and then you can plant it directly. And while having the hard type jelly or the jelly type jelly would mean that that you need to like clean it, and it would take a lot more time, especially with bigger tanks. So it was a revolutionary new idea, but I heard, and please confirm if that's true, it will also make your manufacturing process easier, because suddenly with the liquid jelly you can make more types of plants accept that type of jelly than with the soft one.
Yes, it's you're partly right, but the thing with liquid media compared to a firm media, if you maybe it gets a bit technical now, but I think
Let's
it's
get
important.
technical.
It's a bit important.
This is an aquascaping channel.
Because if you have the gel, you actually has isolated the bacteria, because it's a firm media. So you can have a contamination in one spot of a gel, which doesn't affect
It
the
won't
other
spread
parts.
to the other.
No. If you have a liquid gel,
It moves.
it's everywhere. You know, so the smallest piece of contamination, then it's everywhere.
So it's actually more difficult to have that kind of technology, because
Yes.
you need to make sure that the whole process completely, absolutely bacteria free.
Absolutely.
So sterilization is more important than it used to be before.
Absolutely. So we have invested heavily in a new lab. We have built on a 1,500 square meters laboratory, where we have taken a lot of technology out of the food industry, processing, especially about cleaning, the cleanliness in the processing. We have invested quite a lot in detecting contamination in plants, media. It can still be better, but we only have a contamination rate below 2% now in our processing. So having that in mind, yes, you're correct, the advantages are huge. You can actually see on, I would say, 8 to 9 out of 10 plants that they actually like the liquid media much better. They thrive, you know, in the liquid, because liquid makes the nutrition base much easier accessible for the plants, and they grow better actually.
So the uptake is better from the liquid.
The uptake is better, and the biggest advantage, which I think is the prime for me, is actually that for the user planting the plant in, you have a chance of getting success in a very high rate. And that's because we see that aquatic plants are normally in water.
Right,
and
that's true.
you have that. So having them in liquid media actually makes them
much closer to their own environment.
Yeah, so they actually adapt into an underwater environment. And you see that especially by being, again, technical. You can take very, very good examples that we have in our series. The Hygrophila pinnitifida, for example, is actually when you grow it in an immersed state. The immersed state is a green stem plant which grows green ferny leaves in an underwater state, as hopefully the majority will experience in the future. They grow low, narrow-leaved, and also ferny, but completely red, you know. And it's when you take a plant and compare that to a gel type, pinnitifida could be the Hygrophila aerograia as well. But when you take those two plants now as examples, you put them into a tank. You've probably experienced that in your nice shop here as well, that you see an instant growth on a liquid media plant like that. They start growing.
Yes,
they don't have to
we
transform into an underwater environment. And that's a big
I would consider like the lab plant to be somewhere in the middle between an aquatic plant and an immersed plant. So it's in the middle, which would mean that it would adjust better to those conditions. I want to point fingers. Can you tell me who came up with the idea of the liquid jelly? I want names. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I remember very well the process here, because we actually, I can give all the credits to our development team. So, and actually pushed forward by a commercial idea of not buying bunches out of Asia. That's actually the complete original idea of it.
Very interesting how these ideas are coming to us.
Exactly, and you can. Everybody knows maybe about the invasiveness, all the questions that you have. That we have to be careful in all areas with live animals, live plants. That we have to be careful about moving invasive species between continents. And as all aquatic producers, suppliers to the trade, you need Eloidea, you need Kabumba, now it's forbidden, but you need stem plants, which is in a price, cheap-oriented way. A lot of people buy that. I don't like the product personally, because from an aquatic space there's no roots in it. There's little chance, to bring in a cheap Asian product. It's heavy with CO2. The chance of invasiveness is high because it's in outdoor areas there. So we actually were in an invention process where we actually asked ourselves, if that market closes down tomorrow, what do we have to offer the trade at that stage? So actually we came up with a lot of different ideas in a process internally. We have 2 girls working with different ideas, looking for growth potentials. How can we grow plants better? How can they be stronger? And Troels is, of course, overall in charge of that. And within that process, we actually made what they call reagents, tubes, yeah, as you know them from laboratories, in physical glass, but they made them in plastic bags in liquid media, because try to put an Eloidea, everybody knows it grows 2 centimeters per day.
Really quick.
So some of these plants here, how could we make real underwater plants grow in our own conditions here? So we put Eloidea in here, also Danish Eloidea, actually. There's a Danish Eloidea variety, not to bring them in from Asia. And actually we found out that the plants, they grow too well.
So it was an accident?
It was an accident.
All right. Guys, this is science. There's a lot of factor to the accident. Where is Tropica going now? I mean, what's your direction? What's your plan? What's the plan for the immediate future?
The immediate future here is to stay in the line that we are in now. We're doing what we are best at, to find plants, to find new methods actually to supply plants to the hobbyists, to make them grow on. We stay with our core competencies of what we are best at. Okay.
Can you reveal a secret that you never revealed before here to the Green Aqua Aquascaping public on this very special occasion of us having you here?
Yes, I can.
All right.
But this is probably the best shop that I've been in ever.
Thank you.
So I can reveal that secrets here.
Yeah.
And everybody who hasn't been here, go here, because this is just from a hobbyist and from an understanding point of view, this is where actually the hobbyist merge into what trades, I think, and then that's maybe some kind of secret will be in the future, I would say.
All right. Okay, so thanks.
But no secrets in the product specifications.
I see. Don't worry about that. I wasn't interested in that. All right. Thanks for being here with us, and hope to see you again. And absolutely. I will take the opportunity to ask you to invite us to Tropica, because we would really much like to do a film about the process of manufacturing plants. So, guys, thanks again.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here with us in this Aquascaping Couch episode. Let's hope that we're going to continue this series in the future. If you like what you see, please subscribe. There's a subscribe button underneath me. And you can also hit the bell button to be notified of future video uploads. Thanks again. See you next week. Goodbye.